Ever crave a juicy steak or tender serving of filet mignon? Well, you may be better off craving something other than red meat.
A team of researchers at Loma Linda University Health have been investigating lifestyle and health for nearly 60 years in what's known as the Adventist Health Studies. What they've found is those who eat a vegetarian diet have a lower risk for chronic diseases, which ultimately translates into longer, healthier living.
In our study, the vegetarians compared to the non-vegetarians do have a lower risk of chronic disease, a lower risk of high blood pressure, lower risk of high cholesterol, a lower risk of diabetes, they're less obese, and a lower risk of dying from heart disease ultimately.
The researchers recently discovered that vegetarians are 22% less likely to develop colorectal cancers, the second leading cause of cancer death in the United States.
So how can you start eating a vegetarian diet and experience the lifestyle benefits? If giving up meat entirely is too much, why not reconsider how often you eat meat? For example, try eating only fish, or eat other meats only once a week to experience similar health benefits associated with a vegetarian lifestyle. The second tip is to eat fewer refined foods like sugar, desserts, snack foods, and fast food meals.
Instead, we should eat more whole grains and natural foods like fruits, vegetables, legumes, and nuts.
The closer you get to some kind of natural state, growing your own garden, shopping at a local farmer's market, that can be very helpful.
If you commit to following these tips, you can enjoy the benefits of lowering your risk for chronic disease and living 6 to 9 years longer.
There's your tip for the day on how you can live healthier, longer.
We first actually just looked at telomerase activity, and we found that in 1 week of our retreat, telomerase had gone up by 40%, which was very unexpected. And Elizabeth then looked at telomere length, which had also increased, and at this point, we did a whole bunch of molecular work. So we looked at several genomes, and we looked at those genomes that were responsible for, or genes that were responsible for self-regulation, homeostasis, wound healing, and heart health, and we found that they'd all increased their activity, some 17-fold over baseline. This paper, by the way, is under review in Nature at the moment. We've been asked to resubmit it as is usual, with a few corrections, so we hope to see its publication very soon. And all the genes that were responsible for inappropriate inflammation, including genes associated with cardiovascular disease, which, by the way, the risk factors for cardiovascular disease are the risk factors for almost every other chronic illness. Diabetes, Alzheimer's, they all went down significantly. So much so that Eric Schott, whose slide this is at Mount Sinai,